Hi everyone, Lee Goldstein here, and what I wanted to do today was show you how I prepare for trades and test trades and whether I decide if I'm going to take a trade or not. Some people maybe take all the trades that they're awake for, and other people probably do some testing like I do. Tonight we've got the Australian monetary minutes. So what I like to do is replay, especially if it's a trap trade, because the results can be very real on a replay of a trap trade. So with Ninja, you've got to make sure you're connected live to your data provider. And what I'll do before anything is I'll go to Forex Factory and investing.com, check the trade that I'm interested in looking at tonight, the monetary meeting, go to detail on Forex Factory, and that gives me the dates of the previous reports. So I'll notate a couple of those. Now, one thing that Forex Factory does not do, that investing.com does very nicely, is if you click on the name of the trade that you're interested in investing.com, you get a history of the trade with the time. And if you see here, the time is different, and that's because they take into effect the daylight savings time. So that'll save you a lot of time when you're looking for the exact starting time to replay the report. You don't get the hour wrong because of daylight savings time. So I love that about investing.com. Um, so now what you're going to do is you get the date of the report that you're interested in replaying. And for me, because I've already made a video on 1214 that I'll share with you, we're going to do, let's do 817 because I happen to know that a little bit that it actually did something slightly. So what you're going to do is go to Ninja, go to your utilities, download replay data. You go to the month, you open this up, and then go to 8. And we said it was 817. So you go to 817. Then you need to pick the instrument that you're going to test on. So for 817, that's going to be 6A 915. Okay, just by knowledge, I know that that's the correct contract because of the date matches up. We're going to download it. All you need is level 1 replay data for this stuff. And then I'm going to pause because what you need to do is restart your Ninja and go into replay mode. I'm going to show you everything that happened to me. The only reason I pause is because sometimes when I load my market replay, actually just the first time, it takes a very long time to come up. And what you do is you go to File, you disconnect your data provider, and then you connect market replay, okay, which I've already done. But you can see my Ninja is unpopulated on one of my charts, my main trading chart. Sometimes I think there's a bug in Ninja. Sometimes when it goes to repopulate, it just does what you see. It doesn't populate. The way around that is if you populate with any random instrument, as long as it's not the one that you're going to be using. And in this case, because we're not using 6A316, we were using, let's see, 879, 6A915, it should repopulate it properly, which it does. So we're getting ready for the trade. Now what you need to do is set up your times and your strategy with your tiers and all of that. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, a couple of quick things when you're setting up your trap trade. Make sure that your time is correct and you give yourself a little bit extra time. I like a little more time, less time than what Jay uses. So my trade will trigger off, the tiers will show up at 35 seconds after the hour instead of 15. Make sure that your stop is correct. I believe this trade was 10. And price at the time and last fill price are the most common settings. Position size is, I'm using 2 contracts. And then you have to enable the trade. Make sure that you're using the right instrument. Okay. And apply it so the trap trade shows up. And then you have your icon and you'll be in business. We can, then it's a replay. So make sure you're connected to replay, of course, so you have to do the whole thing over again. But the most important thing is when you're doing replay, do not use these times up here to go to the time of the trade. Right click in this space here on the box so you get the go to command, and then type your date and time using that, or it'll reset the strategy trade. It'll zero it out. So we were 8:17. The time is 7:29. And we need this about 10 seconds prior to what we had set in the time for the strategy report. So this should be 25 seconds, and it's an evening trade, so you want to make sure you're on PM. Okay, sometimes I get that population problem again when I do that, so usually I like to do that last. As you can see, I got it. So I just go to any random instrument, and then I go to the instrument I want. We were 6A 915 for this report because it's 817, I believe. Looks a little weird, so I just want to make sure we have everything right. The trade was 817. We're 6A 915. I believe I've got it correct, so we're going to replay it. Press start, and we'll give it a couple of seconds because it'll be 35 seconds up here that we should see our tiers. It's pretty low volume on this report. I'm wondering, I almost feel like I made a mistake, but it's 1930, which is 7:30. So I believe that I do have it right, but as you can see, my tiers did not fire off, so I did something wrong. So this is real life. I could have restarted the whole video and redone the whole thing and made it perfect, but what I realized is I had misapplied the starting time of the trade because of daylight savings time. So when I went into investing.com, I realized by looking at the chart too, it looked way too low volume and my tiers didn't fire off. So that was a warning sign, obviously, that my replay was in trouble. So I'm going to reset it and then we'll do it again. So let's say you made that mistake that I did. So you have to reset your trap trade. What you do is you click on trap, turn off the true, and make it false, and then apply it, and that way it all becomes live again. So we can change our time. We've got to make it an hour further up, and then make sure that you re-enable the trade to true, apply it, okay it. You've got your icon again, and then you have to go into right click on the go to and make sure that you've made those changes, which I did. It's 8:29, not 7:29. And then you can see it's also down here. You check your chart, and now we can replay, and it should work properly. So it's real life. I could fake this and show everything perfect, but I think it's better if you see my mistakes, you'll learn from them, and you'll figure out how to do it right. And it's good practice. Make a mistake, fix it. Make a mistake, fix it. Trading is, an imperfect art, and it never changes to being imperfect. And we're still not getting the tiers to fire off. So that leads me to believe the data is not downloaded properly because we're not getting any movement on the chart either.
Order pending.
There it is, but it was way late. It didn't trigger until after the report triggered. So since it did, let's see what's going on. Theoretically, we could come down a little bit. This is sitting nicely. The second upper tier. I would probably bring this possibly to right underneath the low of the day. Again, not getting much action here. Making these tiers pretty narrow. And it almost leads me to believe that the time is wrong on the trade. That's what it looks like to me. I'm speeding it up to see if anything happens. I mean, it's getting a little activity, but not much. And I do not believe that this was a canceled trade. So I'm going to pause the trade. I think I'll leave the video live because there's a lot to learn from it. And I will talk to you all soon. Lee Goldstein signing out, Procall33 at AOL.com.